Hello, welcome back today. Today I'm gonna start off making a pistachio um, cherry mousse bar. It's a very simple recipe. It's not hard at all. Very easy. On top, we have the cherry jelly, and I make a. Right now, I'm in the process of making a pistachio mousse. So I whip the cream, and also um, have my half of the milk, the heavy cream, adding the gelatin, and once your cream is hot, you just add the gelatin and just stir with a spatula, or if you have a whisk, you can stir because you don't want that to clump up in the bottom of the pot. And you just continue whisking so everything can dissolve. You already know, the gelatin basically um you know get put it in an ice bath, and you basically bloom your gelatin. So that's the first step. So right now I'm in the process of dissolving all um the gelatin so it doesn't get clumped up to the bottom. All right. And moving on with the pistachio paste, and this is a where I pour some of the hot cream and hot cream inside of um, the pistachio paste, but you don't have to do it that way. You can basically just mix um, heat up some of the cream, different. You don't have to use a gelatin inside there, and you just basically, put it in a rubber coupe, or you want to mix it with your spatula or so, and it will loosen it up. And this is just very natural pistachio paste, and this is a very expensive recipe here. But if you don't have, we purchased this from a company, but if you don't have pistachio, what what you can do, you can just grind up the green pistachio into a paste, and then you can use it. Um, but this is a big project, so we purchased the pistachio. And then moving on forward, I have my part of the cream um, whip to a soft peak, and then there I go. I add in the the next part of the creme and glaze, because that's a next part of the recipe. And if, as I said, if you're really interested in this recipe, I'm more happy to share the recipe in the description. Um, or you can just message me. I will more happy to share it. So the creme glaze is a different part of the recipe, and then I will definitely do a next video for the creme glaze. Um, Basically, it's a pastry creme glaze. You can use it for a sauce and use it for ice cream. You can use it for several different things. This one creme glaze recipe. So look out for that one. I'm definitely gonna um, have a video on that one. So moving on. So that's the pistachio that I grind up, very nice and smooth. So I fold it in, and as you can see, your cream is in soft peak, and you just fold it together. So you fold in the creme glaze, and you fold in the gelatin, and also the pistachio paste, and so there you have it. So I whip it up and stir it around, and then definitely this mousse. So basically, this is a mousse part of the 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 process. Okay. So moving on, the the that's the caramel glaze there, and you just have to always keep and mixing it because I wanted to keep, but you don't want to mix it too much, but because you don't want to break it, but it's very smooth as you can see it. This can use for a very nice ice cream base also, and you can flavor that ice cream base into vanilla, chocolate, and etc. Whatever flavor. Because if you watch my next video, I think I do several different things with that same recipe. So it's a very good recipe. And there you go. I have mixed all the pistachio mousse together, and it was a one man show. That's why I just like whip it up. So sorry didn't get to see the part. And now this is the pistachio sponge, and definitely I'm gonna have a video for this pistachio sponge. And this is the chocolate pistachio crunch base. That's the part of the bottom of the it's going to be the bottom structure of the cake. So what you do, the mousse, you put the mousse down on the crunch base that I just you just saw this a while ago, and put some mousse on the bottom, and then you flip the cake over in it, and it will basically glue to it. And once it's set up to it, and then you put the frame around it so the mousse doesn't get everywhere. But if you're doing this at home, you can just it's pretty easy. You can just get a frame or get whatever stuff you can do to hold the mousse up, and it will be perfectly fine. All right. So that's the frame around the cake itself, because it's a pistachio cake. And once I have the cake around it, then moving forward, um, then I'm gonna pour the mousse inside of the cake. So that's the cake for you. And as I said, this part is a very tedious recipe, and I think it's a um, wonderful recipe, but it's just there's so much different steps to this recipe. But in the end of the video and the taste, it's a very good taste. It's a very good recipe. So I push down on the cake, make sure everything is all flush, and I use my um, paring knife, and I basically score the side of the frame, so it when I'm ready to lift it off, it doesn't lift the whole bottom of the cake off. That's the reason why I score it. Always remember to score the bottom of your cake. And as you can see, this is basically how I do it. I put the mousse down on the crunchy, which is the base part of the cake. So base part of the structure of the bottom part of the cake itself, and it's a thin layer of chocolate and fettuccine and um, white chocolate. So then you just basically flip the cake on top, as you can see, and this is a fun part. And when you're doing this, it's as again, when you're doing this, you gotta have to take your time, and because you want to do it the right way. You know what I mean? So, and I didn't add any coloring into, um, and that's the 13 base of the crunchy. And as you can see, the mousse is very smooth, um, very smooth. It starts setting up. Those are the stuff that you see in the bottom of the mousse. It starts setting up, and once it starts setting up, you see those kind of little bubbles. It's just from start setting up, and it's a very smooth recipe. You just like spread it out Once you spread it out, because I'm doing a lot of sheets, a lot of sheets I'm doing right here. So I spread everything out. Once you spread everything out, then you just basically flip the cake on top. You know, um, it's a fun recipe, and I enjoy doing it because the end part of it is just amazing. I don't really um, I've been doing this for a while, so it's not really doesn't really take long. So but I'm doing for a big group, over 700 people. So I think I was gonna, once I started doing it, I was like, I should just, record this and then, you know, um, then this, and so everyone can, you know, you know, have ideas how to create this kind of stuff. So there you have it. I always use a seal pad, and that's a seal pad that I bake my cake with. And once the seal pad, you know, you just put the seal, bake it on the seal pad, and then peel it off and pull off the seal pad. Because the seal pad is easy. Parchment paper is kind of little. It will stick to the parchment paper. Sometimes the parchment paper soak up all the moisture, and then it just gets stuck to everything, and that's the hard part. So I always recommend parchment paper, not parchment paper, sorry, silpat, because silpat is a lot better, and it's like a non-stick. It's not gonna stick once it's frozen, and even if it's not frozen, it's a pretty easy, simple take off, and you know then I want you to see the finishing part of, as you can see, score the side, and then see, you score all the sides, and then you just basically slap the cake on, you know and the then yeah, so that's the those are the ear pocket is just basically, yeah, the pistachio. So that's the pistachio right there, the pistachio mousse, and then you just basically spread it out. um I use basically two, I would say like 2 quarts in the frame. As you can see, I just use a torch and basically heat, just not heat the whole mixture itself. It just like basically put a little heat over the top, basically. I'm not directly put it on there. It's just like a little heat, just basically um, on the spatula, or just right over it. And that heat just basically melt everything, and it will be smooth. So you can put the layer of um, the the cherry mousse, the cherry jelly on top. So that's a really good way how to do it. And I see, so it's just like melting. So you just heat it a little bit, and then it just perfectly, it worked perfectly fine. So that's a next cool way how to do it. Um, Very nice way how to get it done. As you see, is a spray. Heat the spatula, and once you heat the spatula and you pass the spatula over that, it's like perfectly smooth, perfectly smooth. As I love doing this because this is one of my favorite pastry to do. I know it's kind of a little um, process, but once you start doing it, it will be perfectly fine. You know, that's the beauty of it. And then flush all the corners. Make sure all the corners is all equal, and spread it out no chunks, because once that the jelly go on top, that's the final stage, you know. And then see, it's a very rich, what it's a very rich pistachio flavor, and it's just a right amount of pistachio, because this brand is just like, I know they probably have a little, the company probably put a little alcohol in it to preserve it, and but it's a very good stuff, and it's just amazing. As you can see, um, the next recipe I add is the cherry, um, the cherry on top. Basically, it's like a jelly, and this recipe I definitely have, and I will more likely, as I said, to share this recipe. So there you go. I make the cherry, and top it off, and you know um, you just you have to be just trying to remember, the once you make the base, the mousse and everything have to solid freeze, and once it freeze, it's just basically, it will be perfectly fine. As you can see, I make one, two, three, four, and five sheets. I make more than that. On the next side of the video, it's pretty um, um, a lot of sheets. So it's amazing to see how um, these stuff is just, it's amazing, and that's the next part of it. It's I cut it, and then it's just, once I cut it, it's basically, you cut it in I cut it in 1.5 by 2, and 1.5 by 2 inch, and that's amazing. And then I top it off with a little piece of gold leaf. Now I'm wrapping up the video, almost to the finish line, because I'm showing you the cutting edge part of the finishing, and it's amazing to see this pastry. um, and that's the the layer. Says you can see the sponge, and then you can also see the crunchy, and the mousse and the cake, and also the jelly. I was trying to focus my camera, sorry about that. And it's amazing. I love this recipe, and if you think this recipe was good, and if you think this you interested to make this cake, I will more than happy to share this recipe. So holler at me, and I will definitely share this recipe. So I'm coming to the final video, and I garnish it with some pulled sugar, and this is just a regular sugar that I, granulated sugar that I use to make the garnish. Um, it's very easy. It's not hard at all, and that's the final um, stage of the. Because I cut it in two different sizes. I cut it in a small strip, and then also I cut it in a big, like I would say 3 by 1.5. And I want to say, if you really think this recipe was helpful for you, and if you think this video was very helpful for you, I want to say, please share, like, and subscribe, and I will definitely looking forward to putting out a lot more video, and better stuff, like always. you know um I want to say thank you for watching, and I appreciate you, and have a wonderful day. All right, peace.